You all with your children, just get out of here. That's kind of what they're saying. The disciples rebuked them. But Jesus called them unto him and said, suffer, meaning permit little children to come unto me, and forbid them not. Listen, for of such is the kingdom of God. Now, didn't we just read earlier that blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven? Now he's got another category of person, these little infants. He said, of such is the kingdom of God. Well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. These little infants haven't had time to do anything good yet. Have they? What can a little infant boast about his good life? Not much. Eat, poop, and sleep. That's about it. Sorry, that's kind of crude to say on a Sunday morning. Infants don't have any good works to boast about, do they?
No.
You know what else about infants? They're totally dependent. They can't do anything for themselves. See, that's a key thought in this attitude of spiritual bankruptcy. If you don't have anything going for you, and you don't think of yourself as having anything going, you've got to depend totally on the mercy of God. That's why Jesus commended that publican, because he was calling on and depending wholly and 100% on the mercy of God. That's what God wants. He wants us to depend on him wholly and 100%. Now see, that's not to say, don't get the wrong idea, that's not to say that we don't as Christians endeavor to do good things. We just don't trust in those things. We just do them because we do them, because that's our nature to do good things. You know, if you were to ask me and say, well, tell me about all the good things you did last week. I don't know, I can't remember. I didn't make a note of it, you know. See, we're not supposed to take stock of those things. We just do them because it's natural for us. Does that make sense? An infant doesn't have anything to boast about. An infant doesn't have any good works. An infant, something else about an infant, they're not self-conscious either. You know what an infant is conscious of? Mama. Well, himself, yeah. Right. Himself and mama. You know, in other words, he's not saying, look at me, everybody. The infant's not worried about his appearance, you know. How does everybody think of me today? Does my hair look right? Now, again, I'm not saying we shouldn't look in the mirror when we go. I tell you what, I need help. Someone needs to look me over. Sometimes I go to school, and Phil's in my class right now. I'm doing a class, it's a music class, and they send it by closed-circuit television to Woodward, so Woodward students can do it. And so I've got to set up these cameras and got to get this camera in. It's kind of embarrassing. I don't want to see a camera looking at me. You know, but anyway, when this camera zooms in on me, suddenly I get there to school. Oh, I didn't comb my... Look at these hairs standing up. So I'm not saying don't look in the mirror, but what I am saying is an infant is conscious of the one who takes care of him, right? He looks to that one, his mama usually, you know. And see, that's Jesus is commending these. The reason he says, of such is the kingdom of God, number one, they don't have anything to boast about. Number two, they're totally dependent on the one who gave them birth. See, that's what he's saying is, that's what the kingdom of God is about, us totally depending on God. I'm totally depending on our Heavenly Father. Does that kind of fit with the other verse about blessed are the poor in spirit? Verily I say unto you, whosoever shall not receive the kingdom of God, listen to that expression, receive the kingdom of God. Receive makes it sound like it's a gift that's being offered to you. And that's exactly how it is. Now we think it's something to earn and to merit. Remember what we read from Paul? If you earn it, if you work for it, it's not grace anymore. It's a reward. That's how most people think. It's not a reward. It's not something you earn. It's grace. He says, unless you receive it like a gift, the kingdom of God, as a little child, you can't enter in. Nobody gets in by their good. You know what he's saying? You don't get in by your good works. He says nobody can get in by the good works. Nobody can get in by being good enough. Sometimes we think, well, the really good people, they get in that way, but I've got to depend on... No, everybody. Everybody. There's only one way in, by depending on the mercy of God, offered through Christ, through Jesus. He's good enough. We come in on his merits.
Yes.
Did you read that? Verily I say to whosoever shall not receive the kingdom of God as a little child shall in no wise means ain't no way, under no circumstances. So nobody gets in by being good enough. Now, I don't think any accident that the next story that follows illustrates this point sort of in a negative way. Verse 18, a certain ruler asked him, saying, Good master, what shall I do to inherit eternal life? Now this, immediately, after what we've been talking about, should raise some red flags for you. Now sometimes people will read this story without fitting it into the context, without even thinking about the things we've just got through saying, see, immediately this should raise some red flags. Wait a minute, he just said, what good thing shall I do? Jesus has just got through over and over again saying, it's not about what you do, like an infant. It has nothing. He said, blessed are those who are spiritually poor. He commended the publican who had nothing good. Now this young man says, good master, what shall I do to inherit eternal life? And Jesus said to him, why callest thou me good? None is good, save one, that is God. That should be a little clue too. First thing Jesus said to him is, why are you calling me good? There's none good. I wonder if we could take Jesus seriously about that. He said there's none good. You know, elsewhere we can read there's none righteous, no, not one. That's basically what he's saying here. He said, what do you call me good for? Now, you know what? Jesus is very subtle. He's a smart person dealing with people. Why is he saying this? It's because he recognizes immediately that this person coming to him thinks they're good. They think they're good. So he says, why do you call me good? There's nobody good but God. Because now, go and read him. He's just about to... that's what he says here. Okay. All right, if you want to know what you do, if you want to do it by your doing, I'm paraphrasing, if you want to do something, you know the commandments. Do not commit adultery. Do not kill. Do not steal. Do not bear false witness. Honor thy father and mother. You know what the publican would have said back in that other story if he'd heard that? God be merciful to me, a sinner. I've fallen short in some of these areas. But not this guy. He said, all these things have I kept from my youth up. Does that sound like he's proud of himself? Does that sound like he regards himself as poor in spirit? Oh, no. No, not at all. He said, I've kept them all. I've done it all from my youth up. From my youth. I've done everything right. You know what? I doubt it. I wonder. You don't want to just say to somebody, no, but generally if you talk to people long enough, you can find that that's not exactly the truth. But that's how he sees himself. So Jesus says to him, very subtle. Jesus is very subtle in his dealings here. Verse 22, now when Jesus heard these things, he said to him, yet lackest thou one thing. He didn't challenge him on it. He said, yet lackest thou one thing. Sell all that you have and distribute to the poor. Then thou shalt have treasure in heaven, and come and follow me. Now, you know what? Most people read this in a wooden, literal sense and think that he's telling this guy, if you were poor, if you sell everything, then you can go to heaven. In other words, if you get rid of go sell your car and sell your television, sell your clothes, and get rid of all your dishes and your pots and pans and empty your bank account and just wear a rag and give all that to the poor, then that will earn you some virtue. That's not what he means at all. He does not mean that. He does not put any virtue on being poor. See, the virtue is in being poor in spirit. But why does he say this to him? To try to make the point. To try to make this point. Look at what he says next, verse 23. And when he heard this, he was very sorrowful, for he was very rich. And when Jesus saw that he was very sorrowful, he said, how hardly shall they that have riches enter the kingdom of God? For it is easier for a camel to go through a needle's eye than for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of God. He doesn't mean rich in money. He means spiritually self-sufficient. But they didn't, get that. And so when they heard it, they said, who then can be saved? In other words, if this is the requirement, even his own disciples realized they didn't even measure up. If this is how it is. Because they had possessions. They had things they were carrying around with them. The things that are impossible with men are possible with God. Now, just in case you don't agree with my interpretation, and you think he is telling them to get rid of everything, turn the page to the next page, chapter 19. Look in the very next chapter. Luke's Gospel, chapter 19, verse 1. Jesus entered and passed through Jericho, and behold, there was a man named Zacchaeus, which was chief among the publicans. Now that tells us one thing right there. He's one of those people like in the story that he just got through telling who said, God be merciful to me, a sinner. And not only that, he was rich. Did you see that? It says he was rich, just like the guy in the previous account. Both of them are rich. Now the other guy, he said, go and sell everything you have. And I'm saying that he didn't mean money. He meant go get yourself spiritually poor, then you can come and follow me. Because that's what it's really about. His money, he just used that as a symbol. He just used that as a figure. as a symbol. He said, what's keeping you out of heaven is not that you've done, that you're,